Alfred Hitchcock proposed that tension was created by giving the audience all the information. We see the ticking time bomb, the killer inching his way towards the hiding main character. We know things the characters don't or can't. However, there's a trade-off. As a filmmaker gives the audience more and more information, they lose a certain and often crucial aspect of building tension and emotion in the audience: fear of the unknown. There's a balance to strike in giving the audience enough information to make them comprehend the danger while keeping the outcome of the danger in question. Let's take a look at an example in No Country for Old Men, directed by the Coen brothers. Moss is attempting to get some sleep when he discovers the tracker hidden in the satchel of money. We as the audience already knew that there was a tracker of some kind contained in the satchel, so at first, we're relieved. This danger that's been hanging over our heads is now able to be dealt with. And then... a sound so quiet I only noticed it in my second viewing of the film. The sound of Anton Chigurh's silenced shotgun from the main foyer. This is where the scene begins proper, starting with that sudden whiplash from "he found the tracker, he's safe" to "oh god, it's too late, the killer's already here." It's at this point the tension begins to mount. The Coen brothers effectively use the lighting and sound design to implicate the audience in Moss's precarious situation. Along with the already mentioned implication with the distant gunshot, we hear the doorman's phone ringing in the background, every ring confirming to the audience exactly what happened to him. As Moss waits by the phone, he turns his head, putting half of his face into darkness. Then he stands and moves away from the lamp, putting his entire body into darkness. Anton Chigurh's presence shows itself in small details like this, like a thundercloud moving its shadow over the land. Once Moss readies his gun and feels more prepared, he sits back down and moves part of his face back into the light. And then... he puts out his lamp. As Chigurh moves closer and closer to him, the danger heightening, Moss is cast into near total darkness. You know who else is cast into near total darkness? The audience! Moss's turning off of the lamp shrouds the entire cinema in shadow, blending the real world with what's on the screen. In this moment, we could be sitting right there next to Moss, with a psychopath slowly approaching. The audience is thrust into this terrible situation, and they get scared. The only sound, Moss's cocking of the gun. Here, the audience is again implicated, with the tracking device blinking faster and faster, in time with the beeps coming from Chigurh's locator. We as the audience know that Chigurh is using this tracker, we know exactly what's on the other side of that door, and we know what's going to happen once it's opened. Using the light coming in from underneath the door, Moss is able to track Chigurh's movements by his shadow. Moss literally uses the long shadow of a man represented by total darkness. This metaphor is not subtle. This tracking causes the audience to breathe a little bit easier. We know where Chigurh is. There's no fear he's secretly climbing up the drainpipe or some, "oh my god, where the hell is he?" The Coen brothers do something very Hitchcock here, where they give the audience just enough information to be aware of the danger, but not enough to know what form that danger will take. We know that Chigurh is there, but where? What's he doing? For all we know, he's about to come bursting through the... Pause. This is a bit of a strange metaphor, but why are humans so addicted to social media? It's because we can't bear to be alone with our own thoughts. And that's exactly what the Coen brothers force us to do. This door lock ejecting from the knob is the second really audible sound in this scene, with the first being Moss's cocking of the gun. There's no score, no dialogue, there's no panicked breathing, there's no loud gunshots, yet. By making this scene and most of the movie nearly silent, the Coen brothers trap the audience inside their own heads. We're constantly coming up with worst case scenarios, talking ourselves into being more scared than we already were. That's one of the reasons that horror movies are better when watched by yourself, because with other people around you, other people to interact with, you're able to get out of your own head. You tap into some caveman tribalistic intuition that in a pack, you're safe. By yourself, you're as good as dead. The crack of this door lock jerks the audience out of their reverie, cleanly transitioning the scene from suspense into action. What follows is a long and deadly chase in the darkened streets, no music, no nothing, which makes the raining of Chigurh's bullets from his distinctive silenced shotgun all the louder. Which is funny, you'd expect someone to hear the gunshots, the car crash, the shotgun blasts, but no one hears. Or at least they pretend not to hear. The absolute darkness in the windows, doorways, alleys and cars, the stillness, all serves to highlight one key message to Moss. You are alone. Nobody else will help you. The only people Moss sees are dead men walking and the Reaper coming to collect them. This chase also serves to highlight once again the power behind Chigurh. We barely see him during this chase, only seeing his silhouette or his bright muzzle flashes. Anton is always in the abstract, just a presence for Moss to escape from. This plays more into the audience's fear of the unknown. We talk ourselves into thinking that Chigurh is constantly aiming at Moss down the barrel. It's only when Moss gets the upper hand for a brief moment that we see him, brightly lit, exposed, and vulnerable. Then he escapes back into the darkened alley, reclaiming his shield of shadow, and Moss knows that to pursue him there would mean certain doom. The Coen brothers are masters at their craft. In an industry that's constantly being changed and improved by some of the most talented storytellers alive, they stand out because of the way they drape the audience's mind in tension and fear. They capture the moment of dawning realization the second that the audience realize how much danger the characters are actually in, and they stretch it out to cover a full feature film. They use silence and darkness to wordlessly impart information, telling the audience what should and shouldn't be feared. The Coen brothers create tension by tricking the audience into scaring themselves.